Hello everybody, this is something a little bit different because of issues I've been having on my computer recently involving a new CPU, a new CPU fan and RAM sticks. I've decided that rather than give you a Digimon or XCOM video this week that was going to be dire, I decided to come up with something different. This is a top 10 video of players I've gone up against in Roblox Survivor or Roblox Outlaster, and basically rank these 10 people of who I thought were the best players I've gone up against. Before we start announcing the top 10, we need to go through the criteria of how the list is decided. It is decided by these individual players' performances, what kind of game were they on, what were their strategies, and as well as their overall performance, and as well as if there was any chance did they find any advantages or any idols, or how well did they use them. So that is the criteria. So with that out of the way, let's start counting down our top 10. Number 10, Indy1169, Survivor Season 2. Yep, the second oldest video I did on Roblox Survivor back in 2017 when IamJambo's version of Survivor was the hottest Survivor game there was back in 2017. This was also the date before I had my own avatar. I was just basically a bacon boy. But anyway, Indy1169 didn't come alone. He had his partner in crime being Vader1169. Vader1169 won the previous season thanks to me being the only jury member to cast a vote, and I voted Vader to win based on the other two jury members, who unfortunately I can't remember the names of, weren't very truthful to me about when it comes to honesty. Now, me and Indy went on the same team until the team swapped, so I have no idea what Indy did before that time. But I think it definitely rubbed people up the wrong way, especially notably from Robo4324 rant about he'll never be friends with Indy1169. And then there was also the first merged tribal council where he played an idol on his partner in crime Vader to nullify 3 votes. That Child X Labor was voted out in a 4-3-1-1-1 vote, and Child X Labor took it very well, especially with an apparent quote from Indy saying, "Bye pig, see you in the pig pen." Indy1169 did go on to win the season, with me being in the jury after being voted out in the final 4. Number 9, X-Zero Dream. X-Zero Dream, also known as Georgina, started the game early off with a lot of promise to do very, very well. She was very popular to be voted as captain. She actually chose me to join her on her tribe, and me and Georgina got off to a pretty good start, being able to form an alliance. While I had all the advantages, my plan was I was going to take her far into the game based on knowing that she was a very decent player. It seemed to go very well. However, when we got to the final 7, it's when things started to become a bit undone. After Georgina was targeted by a few players to be voted out, she ratted me out, and while I was not impressed in the actual season, I looked back on it and realised, you know what, Georgina was fighting for her life in the game, and so she did probably do a very good choice. She was saved by me though after ratting me out by using a super idol advantage that was based on idol you play after the votes are read. So Georgina survived another round. Unfortunately, she got eliminated because of me playing my elimination advantage, where the other 3 remaining players targeted her to go home, but because I saved myself and I was their target, she ended up being dropped out because of me. So Georgina did pretty well. She got screwed over by me after being put in a very bad position because of me. Number 8, Zed Steve 21, Outlaster Season 6. Zed Steve, also known as Steve, was very quick off the gate to hatch a plan to create a majority alliance. He whispered to the entire team to stick together alongside him and try and vote out the other tribe. The only two people that stuck by him throughout the game were myself and Cherry, also known as Cherry Forever Girl. Cherry and Steve both fell under fire during the merge, but Steve originally fell under fire for being voted for when there was only 4 players at Tribal Council with us, because during a team swap, Cherry and Steve went to the other tribe, and then there was an opportunity for me to abandon my original tribe to go join them, in which I took. So this, with the 3 of us together, we stuck together for towards the end of the season, though at one point Steve was in serious trouble. In the final 5, I could have easily flipped my vote after the vote was tied between Steve and Swag. However, I stayed loyal and kept Steve in with me, and I went on to win the season, though Steve arguably did deserve it because he was under a lot of fire while I was pretty much in the background. Even though I won immunity challenges in the marriage, no one really seemed to have gone after me for whatever reason. Number 7, Nerissa X Girl, Survivor Season 5. Nerissa X Girl, also known as Jennifer Lopez, did not hold back when it came to wanting to be the most powerful player on our team. Now, the team that we were in was a mostly all girl team, and she actually whispered to me to target the most popular player that was on that team, called Sonia, also known as Duo SXX. The first time that we tried to vote her out, it didn't go the way that Nerissa wanted. Instead, it was someone else that went. It was Olivia, also known as Massive Olivia 7389, that went instead. The second time round, Sonia, also known as Duo SXX, targeted Nerissa Girl, while Nerissa once again tried to vote out Duo SXX. And the end result was Nerissa got what she wanted and Sonia got same packing. But after that, the team, there was a team swap, and me and Nerissa were put on different teams. And I was sent back to Tribal for the 3rd time in a row, and members that were in our alliance all turned on me and I got voted out. So, Nerissa X Girl, very, very powerful player, being able to basically get the way she wants, though the first time round didn't go her way, but the second and third time definitely had. Now, I left after that because I wasn't on the jury, and this was before lobbies were introduced to the Roblox Survivor games, so I basically ended the recording after I was voted out because there wasn't really any point in me sticking around at the time. So I have no idea how well Nerissa did after that. Esvidjo 17, Outlaster Season 8. This is the last season of Outlaster I have done to date, with Esvidjo pretty much teamed up with me pretty much during the first challenge of the season, and she seemed to have stuck with me for most of the game until we got to the final 7, where it started becoming clear she has allied behind my back with one of the players called Dad, also known as Stefo2Lego. Now, Stefo2Lego was on contention to be in the top 10 list. However, I decided to not put Stefo2 in the list because even though he was a good player himself, they're just players who I thought did a better job than him. I'm not saying that's bad, I'm just saying he's just good, it's just people were better than him, that's all. Stefo2Lego did help Esvidjo get as far into the game until she was voted out in the final 4 after her ally Stefo2Lego got voted out in the final 5 after another player used a idol to save their target that was POW in that tribal council. Number 5, Valant, Outlaster Season 3. Valant was also a team captain this season, just like Georgina was our number 9 entry. Valant did better than Georgina for one reason and one reason alone: her ability to be at the right side of the field. She was in the majority alliance for pretty much most of the game due to her excellent skills. Her performance at the challenges were also excellent. I tried teaming up with Valant like I tried teaming up with Georgina. It seemed to have worked until that fateful tribal council where they basically turned on each other. You see, Georgina and I wanted to go after Husky 2493. However, Valant wanted me to go after Georgina like she did, along with a certain someone else that we'll be mentioning further on this list. Now, before I mention the next entry, which is number 4, I would like to point out Husky 2493 will be mentioned in a further up on the list. However, he will not be on that list. Let's just say there is someone far more deserving to be in that finale seat that he unrightfully took. Number 4, I'm the Laura, Outlaster Season 3. I'm the Laura, also known as Laura, was very early on in lots of trouble with the team she was on. She played a hidden immunity idol, and she also played an extra vote advantage before the merge. The fact that she made the merge indicates that she was in so much trouble early on, but she managed to turn the odds in her favour. Now Laura looked like she was going to slide her way through to the finale early on in the merge because she wasn't really under any form of danger, not from me at least, or from Georgina or Valant, two people who were already on this list, or pretty much anyone. That was until that fateful final 6 in Season 3 of Tribal Council. Yep, we are mentioning this again. You see, during that Tribal Council I played an extra vote advantage and I split my votes. One vote for Husky and one for Laura. While Georgina voted for Laura, everyone else voted Georgina to be sent packing. However, because I played my secret hidden advantage thing that you use after the votes are read, not before, I saved Georgina, and who got voted out in a 2-1 vote? Laura. I'm the Laura, really got very unlucky on that tribal council. Basically, because I figured she was under the radar, I should vote for her, that I should target her rather than Husky. So that's why I split my vote for Husky and Laura, just in case one of them two goes. If Husky didn't go, then I'd be fine with Laura going, or if Laura didn't go, I'd be fine with Husky going. But either way, Laura got very unlucky for someone who did pretty well getting our way through the game. Number 3, Xenu, Survivor Season 2. Xenu was someone who I didn't interact with at all throughout the old days of being a Bacon Here boy. We weren't on the same team at any point in the season, so we didn't really meet up with each other until the merge. Xenu was relatively under the radar during their times in the merge, well, for the first half of it at least, and then she started winning challenges, showing she is pretty talented, and only then was she under fire. I think it was, if I remember rightly, it wasn't until the final 7 or the final 6 where she started to come under fire. However, Xenu surprised most, making it all the way to the final 3, where ultimately she ended up losing the final immunity challenge to our number 10 spot on this list, Indy 1169, who went on to win the season, while Xenu only placed 3rd behind Indy's teammate Vader 1169. Number 2, Lyndon, Outlaster Season 3. Another Outlaster Season 3 player, but that season just had so many good players, and Lyndon to me was the very best player on that season. Linden was very, very smart, under the radar, but also very good at the challenges. One challenge to his team and one challenges in the merge. Linden was pretty much under the radar for almost the entire season, but by the final 5, it was clear that I was under so much trouble with him, Violet, for our number 5 person on the list, and also Husky. When they couldn't vote me out, they had to vote Georgia out, the number 9 person on the list. So he got voted out in the final 4, and now this is the time for me to address about Husky. When I went back and watched every single season that I did on YouTube, this was the one moment where I was absolutely furious about rewatching. Linden not making the finale because him, Violet and Husky failed to beat me in the Final 4 challenge. Because to me, Linden had every right to be in that finale. Husky basically didn't deserve to make the finale when it should have been Linden that should have had that seat. Because Linden would deserve to win that season for all the hard work they put into it, only to be thrown away by Violet, who, to be fair, would pretty much deserve to win that title, while Husky had absolutely no right to be in the finale. Finally, number 1, Andox, Outlaster Season 8. Yep, the top person in the list goes to Andox, also known as Exotic. Exotic was pretty much like Linden, very smart, very strong at the team challenges, very strong in the merge challenges. The only thing that separates Andox and Linden was the fact Andox had an immunity idol which he played to perfection, which was the only thing that stopped Linden taking that number 1 spot. Andox went on to win that season, and rightfully so, because he was one of the best players I've ever come across, not in the whole spectrum of Survivor Roblox games, not just ones I record and the ones I did privately as well. And that concludes the top 10 list of the best players that I've come across throughout Survivor /Outlaster. 23 videos that I made of me playing these 3 games. Met so many different players, so many of them were really good, some of them weren't so good. Do you agree with this top 10 list? Is there anyone that you think should have been in the list that I missed out? Please let me know in the comments section. I would be glad to hear from you people. So thank you so much for watching, and I want to thank the top 10 players for giving me such an epic time throughout the season, because you players did very well. Even if I wasn't happy about the videos, nowadays I can look back at them and say, you know what, you did a bloody good job of this game, whichever one it was you played. So thank you so much for watching, and goodbye!